next thing is now we can start storing elements in those boxes. So like I said that the array index always starts with 0. So if you have to store the first element, you actually have to store it at index 0 location. So you give the array name, you provide these square brackets, and you put the index value within the square brackets. That is how you basically point to a particular element inside the array. So we say an array of 0 and we put the value 100. Then we initialize the second element, which will be index 1. Then will be the third element, which will be index 2. Fourth element, index 3. Fifth element, index 4. Sixth element, index 5, and so on, until we store till the last element. So this is the 10th element, which is accessible as index 9, and the value is 1000 basically. So from 100 to 1000, we stored 10 values in this array, and we stored them by accessing the index, and this is actually the only way you can store values in the array, by pointing to the indexes. So we go from 0 to 9 and we stored all the values, 0 being the first element and array of 9 being the last and the 10th element. Remember the length minus 1 concept. Okay, so now we will try to print all the elements one by one. That's pretty much what we are doing now. So as we covered in the previous lecture that we use system.out.println to print anything, and we understood the whole meaning of this, so I'm not going to repeat that. Now we want to print the first element. The first element is sitting at index 0, and we can access that element with this syntax by providing the variable name and the actual index value. So I'm just writing a random string here which says element at index 0, and then I'm putting this plus here and putting the variable name. This plus is basically used to concatenate the output of a static string with a random variable, or basically you can print anything with using plus. Plus is used for concatenation. So I'm just trying to print this whole value, but here this is a string value which is a static string, and then I have a value coming from the array. So whenever you have to print some value from a particular data type or variable or collection, then you can use this plus syntax to concatenate a string, static string, with your actual value. So that's what I've done here by saying plus and array 0, and similarly for index 1 I'm printing the first index, then for 2, 3, so far and so on so forth till the index 9. So basically I'm just printing all the values of the array starting from index 0 to index 9. So that's all which is written in this program. Now let's try to run this program. So I will right click, go to run as, and go to Java application and hit on this. And now if I just expand, this is the static string part, in fact including the colon. This is the static string part, element at index 0, printing exactly as is, and then dynamically the 0th index element of an array is printed here. Similarly, we have printed the index 1 location element, index 2 location element, index 3 location element, and so on so forth till the index 9 location element. So in total these are the 10 elements, but the index always works from 0 to length minus 1. In this case it will be going from 0 to 9. So this is basically all which I wanted to cover in this lecture. The whole idea was to give you more understanding of arrays, and remember this is just an integer array. You can similarly create a character array. You can also create a string array for you as well. So it's completely related to the data type you are using. If you create a char array, then you can only store characters into it. If you create a string array, then you can only store strings into it. And now you can probably relate back to this particular thing which I explained in the previous lecture, that we create this string array for the reason that when you run this particular program, and if you want to provide any command line values, command line arguments to the program, those arguments will automatically be stored in this args, and then you can access this as args of 0, args of 1, etc. in your program. That's the whole concept. So this is basically the deep dive on array which I wanted to cover, and in the next session we are going to cover about operators in Java. Let's get started with operators in Java.